Once again, I welcome you all for Science and Technology Part 2, Standard 10. Students, we will be continuing with chapter number 6, Animal Classification Module 2. My name is Ms. Jagjeet Kaur. So before beginning with the module, let us recall what we have studied in Module 1. So students, we studied that depending upon the similarities and differences among these animals, they have been classified. Then formation of groups and subgroups of animals by taking into account their similarities and differences is called as animal classification. And depending upon presence and absence of the notochord, the animal kingdom has been divided into two groups, that is non-chordates and chordates. Then non-chordates are further classified into 10 phyla, and chordates are grouped together in a single phylum, that is phylum Chordata. And phylum Chordata has been divided into 3 subphyla. Students, now let us see the learning objectives for Module 2. So in this module, you all will be learning about Kingdom Animalia, and under Kingdom Animalia, there are 10 phylums, but in Module 2, we will be learning about 9 phylums, that is phylum Poryfera, phylum Nidaria, phylum Platyhelminthe, phylum Escaris, phylum Analeda, phylum Arthropoda, phylum Mollusca, phylum Echinodermata, and phylum Hemichordata. Students, animals are eukaryotic, multicellular species belonging to the kingdom Animalia. Every animal has its own unique characteristic. They obtain their energy either by feeding on plants or on other animals. There are millions of species which have been identified. Few share similar characteristics while others differ drastically. Animals are classified based on their characteristics. They are eminent from algae, plants, and fungus, where rigid cell walls are absent. Some are also heterotrophic. In general, they digest their food within the internal chambers, which again distinguish them from algae and plants. Another elite character of these species is that they are motile except in certain life stages. Now students, what is motile? Motile means capable of motion. Robert Whittaker organized organisms into 5 kingdoms. He classified organisms based on cell structure, mode and source of nutrition and body design. The 5 kingdoms proposed by Whittaker are Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. So students, now let us learn about the Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia constitutes all animals. Amongst the 5 kingdoms, the largest kingdom is Kingdom Animalia. Animals are multicellular eukaryotes. However, like plants, they do not possess chlorophyll or a cell wall. Therefore, members of the animal kingdom exhibit a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Kingdom Animalia has been classified into 10 different subphyla based on their body design or differentiation. Students, now let us learn about phylum Poryfera. Now, the animals in phylum Poryfera are with simplest body plan and are called as sponges. They bear numerous pores on their body, and those pores are called as ostia and oscula. These are aquatic animals and most of them are marine and few are freshwater dwellers. And most of the animals in phylum Poryfera have a symmetrical body, and these animals have special type of cells, that is collar cells. These animals are always attached to substratum, hence do not show locomotion, and they are referred as sedentary animals. And their spongy body is supported by spicules or spongin fibers. Spicules are made up of calcium carbonate or silica. And also students, these animals feed upon small organisms taken in their body along with water, and water is taken in through ostia and given out through oscula. And these animals reproduce by budding, an asexual method or bisexual method. And besides, they have good ability of regeneration. For example, Sycon, Euspongia, that is bath sponge, Hyalonema and Euplectilla, etc. Students, now let us understand about phylum Nidaria, or we can call it as phylum Coelenterata. Now the animals belonging to phylum Nidaria, the body of these animals is cylindrical or umbrella-like. If it is cylindrical, it is called as polyp, and if it is umbrella-like, it is called as medusa. And also students, most of these animals are marine and only few are freshwater dwellers. Body of these animals is radially symmetrical and diploblastic, and nidoblast bearing tentacles are present around the mouth. Tentacles are useful for capturing the prey, whereas nidoblasts inject the toxin in the body of the prey, and those are useful for protection too. For example, Hydra, Adamsia, Adamsia is also called as sea anemone. Then Physalia is also called as Portuguese man of war, or we can call it as, they are also called as blue bottle or floating terror, is a marine hydrozoan which is found in the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Oceans. Then Aurelia, which is jellyfish and corals, etc. Students, do you know that bath sponge is black colored and somewhat round shaped animal? Its body is mainly made up of fibers of a protein spongin, and due to this, they have good water holding capacity. It was used for bathing during old days. Besides, it was also used for manufacturing of pillows and cushions. These were also used as wetting material for sticking postal stamps and counting the currency notes. Now students, here is a surprising information for you all. You know about coral reefs. Now coral reefs are present in ocean. These reefs are actually colonies of specific cnidarians. A precious stone called coral and the coral powder used in Ayurveda is derived from these reefs. Students, now let's learn about phylum Platyhelminthes. Now the animals belonging to Platyhelminthes, their body is slender and flat like a leaf or strip. Hence they are called as flatworms. And most of these animals are endoparasites. Few are free-living and aquatic. Body of the organisms belonging to phylum Platyhelminthes is acylomate and laterally symmetrical. These are triploblastic, that is, their body is made up of three germ layers, that is endoderm, ectoderm and mesoderm. And these animals are hermaphrodite, that is male and female reproductive systems are present in the same animal body. For example, planaria, liver fluke and tapeworm, etc. Now the next phylum is Aschelminthes. Body of these animals is long, thread-like or cylindrical. Hence they are called as roundworms. And these animals are either free-living or endoparasites. Free-living animals are either aquatic or terrestrial, and body of these animals is triploblastic and pseudocoelomate. Body of these animals is non-segmented and covered with tough cuticle. And also these animals are unisexual. For example, escaris, that is intestinal worm, filarial worm, loa loa, which is also called as eyeworm, etc. Now the fifth phylum in kingdom Animalia is phylum Annelida, and body of these animals is long, cylindrical and metamerically segmented. Most of the animals are free living, but few are ectoparasites. Free living animals may be marine or freshwater dwellers or terrestrial. These animals are triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical and eocelomate. They have setae or parapodia or suckers for locomotion, and their body is covered with special cuticle. These animals are either hermaphrodite or unisexual, for example, earthworm, leech, nereis, etc. Now students, here is a question for you all, that why is the earthworm called as friend of farmers? Yes, earthworm loosen the soil by burrowing deep into it, and thus they help to aerate the soil. This continuous digging of soil also helps the water to reach the roots quickly. Earthworms can decompose the organic matter from the soil and convert it into rich manure. And this helps in increasing the fertility of soil, which ultimately increases the crop production. And thus, earthworm is called as a friend of farmers. Students, now the sixth phylum is phylum Arthropoda, and the animals in phylum Arthropoda have jointed appendages, hence they are called as arthropods. Planet Earth has highest number of animals from this phylum. Hence, this is the largest phylum with highly successful animals in animal kingdom. These animals are found in all types of habitats, ranging from deepest oceans to highest mountains. And body of these animals is triploblastic, eocelomate, bilaterally symmetrical and segmented. Chitinous exoskeleton is present around their body, and these animals are unisexual. For example, crab, spider, scorpion, millipede, centipede, cockroach, butterfly, honeybee, etc. Now students, what is chitin? Chitin is a polysaccharide. It is a major constituent of exoskeleton of arthropods, and it is also found in cell walls of fungi. Now students, tell me, which are the animals from phylum Arthropoda those have shortest and longest lifespan? Yes, mayfly of phylum Arthropoda has the shortest lifespan, that is approximately 24 hours, and lobsters have the longest lifespan, that is 31 years for males and 54 years for females. Now students, can you tell why has it been said that only insects directly compete with humans for food? Yes, phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom and includes insects, and animals of this phylum are highly successful. They dominate terrestrial environments that supports human life. And many insects are herbivores, feeding on plants that humans use for food, textiles, and other industries. And these insects act as pests and have an adverse impact on agricultural production, thereby causing economic loss as well as crop loss. Students, now let's learn about phylum Mollusca. Now the animals in phylum Mollusca have body which is soft and slimy, hence they are referred as mollusk. And this is the second largest phylum in animal kingdom. These animals are aquatic or terrestrial, and most of the aquatic mollusks are marine, but few are freshwater dwellers too. And body of these animals is triploblastic, eoscellomate, non-segmented and soft. Except animals like snail, their body shows bilateral symmetry. And their body is divided into three divisions like head, foot, and visceral mass. Now, visceral mass is covered with mantle, and this mantle secretes a hard, calcareous shell. This shell may be external or internal or even absent in some cases. And these animals are unisexual, for examples bivalve, snail, octopus, etc. Now the next phylum is phylum echinodermata. Calcareous spines are present on the body of these animals and hence they are called as echinoderms. And these animals are found only in ocean. Their body is triploblastic, eoscellomate, and it is radially symmetrical in adult stage. However, they show bilateral symmetry in larval stage. They perform locomotion with the help of tube feet. Tube feet are also useful for capturing the prey, and some animals are sedentary. They have skeleton made up of calcareous spines and or ossicles, or we can call it as plates. These animals have good ability of regeneration, and these animals are mostly unisexual. For example, starfish, sea urchin, brittle star, sea cucumber, etc. Students, now let's learn about the ninth phylum under kingdom Animalia, that is phylum Hemichordata. Body of these animals is divided into three parts as proboscis, collar and trunk. Notochord is present in proboscis region only and hence they are called as hemichordates. And these animals are also called as acorn worms. These are marine animals, live in burrows in sand, and they have one to many pharyngeal gill slits. They are unisexual or some may be hermaphrodite. For example, balanoglossus, secoglossus. And through the viewpoint of evolution, balanoglossus is considered as connecting link between non-chordates and chordates. And this animal shows the characters of both the groups. Students, now let us summarize what we have learned in Module 2. We learned that the poriferans have a spongy appearance and are therefore called sponges. They are attached to the substratum and do not move. They have the ability to absorb and withhold fluids. The colintrates are aquatic, mostly marine organisms. The body is radially symmetrical and exhibit a tissue-level organization. Their mouth is surrounded by sensory tentacles which helps to capture their prey. Then phylum Platyhelminthes includes 13,000 species. The organisms are also known as flatworms. These are acoelomates and they include many free-living and parasitic life forms. Then in escaliminthes are commonly known as roundworms. They are characterized by the presence of pseudocolum. Phylum Annelida are found in aquatic as well as terrestrial environments. These are bilaterally symmetrical invertebrate organisms. Their segmented body distinguishes them from any other organism. Arthropoda is the largest phylum with about 9 lakh species. They may be aquatic, terrestrial, or even parasitic. They have jointed appendages and a chitinous exoskeleton. Then phylum Mollusca have soft bodies, triploblastic and bilaterally symmetrical and coelomate. The study of mollusca is called as malacology. They are sluggish invertebrates with a thin fleshy envelope or mantle covering the visceral organs. And the organisms belonging to the phylum echinodermata are exclusively marine. Till date, there have been no traces of any terrestrial or freshwater echinoderms. Phylum Hemichordata is a small phylum with only 100 known species and with animals having a worm-like appearance. Some species in Hemichordata may be existing alone or some occur in colonies. Students, now let us understand the meaning for some new terms. So the first term is sedentary. Meaning of the word sedentary is involving a lot of sitting down. That means we can say not active. The second term is nidoblast. The meaning of nidoblast is it is the cell within which a nematocyst is developed. Now what is nematocyst? Nematocyst is an organ in colon traits consisting of a minute capsule containing an ejectable thread that causes a sting. The third term is endoparasite. Endoparasite is a parasite that lives inside its host. And the fourth term is ectoparasite. Ectoparasite is a parasite that lives on the outside of its host. And the fifth term which we have learned is dweller. The meaning of the word dweller is animal that lives in the place mentioned. And the sixth term is visceral mass. The meaning of visceral mass is it is soft, non-muscular metabolic region of the mollusk that contains the body organs. And the last term which we studied was sluggish. The meaning of the word sluggish is moving or working more slowly than normal in a way that seems lazy. Now students, here is an assignment for you all. You have to choose the correct alternative. So the first question for that is, millipedes belong to phylum dash. And the options given are echinodermata, arthropoda, urochordata, escaliminthes. So what is the answer? Yes, millipedes belong to phylum arthropoda. Then the second question, animal that can change its color is dash. So the options are planaria, octopus, leech, hydra. So which animal changes the color? Yes, animal that can change its color is octopus. Then the third question, only two germ layers are formed in dash. So students, in which phylum do we find two germ layers? Yes, only two germ layers are formed in cnidarians. Now students, the second question is identify me. So the first question is, I live in your small intestine. Pseudocolum is present in my thread-like body. In which phylum will you include me? So students, in which phylum do we include? Yes, it's Escalminthes. Then the second question, though I am multicellular, there are no tissues in my body. What is the name of my phylum? Yes, it's phylum Poryfera. Then the last question, my body is radially symmetrical. Water vascular system is present in my body. I am referred as fish, though I am not. What is my name? Yes, starfish. Thank you, dear students. I will be back with module 3. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day.